Hello, welcome to High Value Sales. I am Dallas McMillan. I run a marketing agency called Influential. I help coaches and consultants get clients online and sell their high-end products, programs, and services. In this training, I'm going to show you how you can sell your high-priced coaching or consulting services. The first thing I want to get across to you is that when you are selling high ticket, it is all about selling value. If you're selling low and mid price point products, you're probably used to having to sell on price, selling on features and benefits. Those things matter a tiny bit here, but really what matters the most is the value that the client is going to get from working with you, the value in your deal for them. So throughout the sales and marketing process, you need to be creating and communicating value. And we do this through a high value selling proposition. You're probably aware of your selling proposition, and you've probably heard of phrases like your unique selling proposition. Your selling proposition is the combination or the fit between the market, the people you're selling to, the message, which is how you're communicating what you're trying to sell, and the product that they're going to get. You need a market that's willing to buy what you've got. You need a message that they're going to respond to. And you need a product that will deliver that value, that will deliver what they want to buy and what you're communicating in the message. And throughout all of those, when we're selling high ticket, we want to be carving out the greatest value and identifying, the portion of the market and the message and the type of product that will maximize the value in the deal. So it basically comes down to attracting high value buyers, people who are going to get the most out of what we offer, presenting a high value offer, so telling them this is what you're going to get from working with us, and then delivering on that value through a high value product that can clearly deliver the value that we're promised in the offer. So when you're first testing out a new product idea or trying to market a product that you've developed, you first need to validate the business model and the concept. You need to get in front of those high value clients, and then you need to make the offer to them. You need to test it, and then you need to test out the product and see, ensure the product meets their criteria. I like to think that the client has a problem, the offer is the promise to solve the problem, and they need to want it, and that the product delivers on both the want but also on the needs. That's how you actually solve the problem. Now, most coaches and consultants are great at fixing the problem, but they're not so good at coming up with the offer, and their offer tends to look like a product description instead of a promise of a result that they're going to get. But what's really important is that if you're developing a new product, or you're looking to launch or market a product for the first time, or if your existing marketing isn't getting the traction you want, that you need to test out the right niche, the right clients, you need to test out the right offer, and then you need to test out the product and make sure there's a match and be prepared to tweak them. If you go and spend 6 months building what you think is the perfect product, but you can never find an offer that will make people buy it, it doesn't matter how good it is, it just won't sell. Okay, let's take a closer look at each of these steps. To find high value clients, you want to find a group of people with a specific problem. Now, this is important because we want to be able to reuse the same marketing message and the same product on a group of people. Otherwise, we're reinventing the wheel every time. We're doing one-on-one coaching and consulting very inefficiently. Instead, we want to find a group of people with the same problem who respond to the same message, who get results with the same product. That lets us make our one-on-one coaching or consulting much more efficient and profitable and effective, or we can move toward a productized service or an online program like a group coaching model and deliver a much more leveraged service, which means better revenue for us, great results for clients, and very low delivery costs. So once we've found those people, we need to test the offer. And this is probably the most important part. The offer is the deal. It's what they're going to get. It's the result. So it's not about what your product or program is or looks like. It's about what they're going to get by working with you. So that needs to be something that they intensely want and desire. This is the part that's going to engage their emotions and make them move toward it and take action. The product, on the other hand, delivers the outcome that's offered. It's what we're promising in the offer. So it needs to deliver on what they actually need to solve the problem, and it needs to also visibly deliver on their want. If you've got a product that does solve the problem, but it doesn't look right, people won't buy it, even though they kind of go, yeah, I want that. Oh, the product's not quite right. So getting your product designed so that it looks like it fills the part is really important. Probably a lot of you are awesome at what you do. You can solve the problem. You've done it again and again for people individually, but when you try to sell new people, they just can't see it. And that's a product design problem, not how the product is delivered, but how it's architected that makes it easier to sell and having it in alignment with your offer. So, there's a lot to this, but I hope that this distinction between the product and the offer helps you if you're sort of struggling or working on marketing your product. Now, look, why bother doing all this? Well, the best reason that I know to focus on finding your high value buyers and getting a really great offer that communicates tons of value to them, and then designing a high value product is that when you combine these three, it lets you target the top of your market. And why would you want to do that? Well, because according to the 80-20 principle, 20% of your market spends 80% of the entire market spend. So their wallet share is 80%. And if we take the next step, 4% of the market controls 64% of the spend. That means that targeting this top 4% is 16 times more profitable. So if you're having any problems making good profits in your industry, chances are it's because you're targeting other than the top 4%. You're targeting the 50% or the bottom 20% or something, thinking that it'll be easier to get traction there. By identifying the high value clients, they're in here, they will only respond to high value offers and they expect a high value product. Unless you have all three, you don't get to play in that 4%. If you get it really right, then you can be targeting the top 8.8%, which is 64 times more profitable. And that's ignoring the fact that your high value product can be more efficient to deliver than what the rest of the market is doing. So the potential to be dramatically more profitable by following this process is enormous. Okay, so that's how we work out your high value selling proposition. Once you've validated your market and your message and your product, you've found those high value clients, you're making them an offer and you're delivering a great product, then you can start scaling up that process by using what I call the sales process to attract, engage, and enroll these clients. Now, this high value sales process has 5 steps. The first step is selection. That's where we choose the clients we're going to target. Now, obviously, we're going to target high value clients, but we want to target them in a way that's easy for us to do from a marketing perspective. So this might be, for example, targeting a specific group on using Facebook ads, or it might be putting an ad in a magazine that we know will be read by those high value clients or by that top 4%. The second step is to attract clients in. So we need to engineer our sales and marketing process so that they are coming to us and they feel like they've discovered us, like they're coming in and they're excited and there's desire and wanting there. So it needs to be an emotionally driven demand rather than an intellectual curiosity. They need to be hot for the deal. And this is a huge switch in most people's businesses. If you get this right, the change in energy that will occur in yourself and in your clients when instead of you chasing customers, they are chasing you is just enormous. To do that, we also need an automated lead generation process so we can handle all these clients coming in and make sure they're the right clients, and then the ones who are best we're passing on to the next step. So having an automated lead generation process is essential for this, and I've written about this extensively in my high ticket sales funnel training. If you just Google high ticket sales funnels, you'll find that. The other big benefit of lead generation is it lets you nurture leads who aren't quite ready to buy. So some people will be attracted, they'll see what you've got, but they won't take action immediately, or they're just not ready to buy. By using an automated process, you can keep those leads warm and gradually educate them over time. This is especially important in complex sales. So, a lot of my clients are selling consulting services that are, $10,000 or $30,000, and those sales don't get made on a single exposure. They often result from a referral and multiple interactions with watching online training or downloading reports or reading a book. That all takes time, and you need a process to keep them in that funnel. Likewise, if you're selling a more complex product, such as a done for you professional service that might be tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars, then that can take months or years to attract and then ultimately enroll those clients. And that needs to be automated or it gets very expensive. So our lead generation helps to automatically get those people into our process and keep them increasingly excited about what we've got until they're ready to buy. Then the fourth step of the sales process is evaluation. So we all know that our clients are going to be checking us out, and they're probably checking out other things as well. They're doing their research and due diligence and possibly choosing between us and other providers based on things like expertise, price, the type of offering, what result they're looking for. And so this is an evaluation phase, and also it's an education phase. They're learning what they need to buy well. However, we don't want to let our clients be the ones doing all the evaluation. Just like in the attraction phase, we actually want to flip that switch and turn it into a process where we're evaluating them. You want to be more fussy than your clients are about who you work with. So instead of you being on trial, your clients are on trial. They're being evaluated by you, and you do this through things like having diagnostic tests that work out where they're at and what service they're ready for, having an application process to talk to you or apply for a specific product, using a series of educational events with where are you now, what do you need next type stuff, so that you work out exactly who you want to be selling to, where they're at now, and whether they're right for a specific product. Once you've qualified your client and you can see that they're ready to buy and that they look like they're the right kind of client for you, you can take them to the sales conversion step. And this is the point at which they go from being a buyer to becoming a client. And if you're selling a coaching or consulting program that might be, say, $2,000 to $20,000, this is probably going to occur in a sales conversation on the phone. So people will come in, they've applied for the strategy call, you take them through a process to work out where they are now, where they want to be, what they need to get there, and whether you can help them or not, and then you'll advise what products or services might be suitable for them to help them get there. And then if they're the right kind of client and they're ready to move ahead, then you can enroll them on the phone. If you've got a more complex service such as a technical consulting or some sort of implementation process where there are a lot of deliverables, then there'll almost always be a proposal and often a series of steps where there's a memorandum of understanding. People agree in principle, but there's still some details to be worked out. So, depending on your price point and the complexity of your product, this can look different, but in its simplest form, it's going to be a sales conversation where you give them details about what the program is, and then you enroll them on the phone or on a sales page or on a brochure or application form. So regardless of what happens, there's two essential phases to sales conversion. There's some sort of signature or confirmation, they're clicking the button to buy, and also there's a payment. So, and you need that combination. Legally a contract is an agreement plus a consideration, a payment. So they're the two things you need to have, that there's some kind of contract of agreement. Typically it's an email or a sales page or a proposal, but there's something written down to say, yes, I agree to go ahead, and there's a payment verifying that as well. So that's the high value sales process. But remember, we don't want to start this until we've already identified our high value client offer and product. Otherwise, we're stuck working outside that 4% or the 0.8% where we want to be. So I hope you found that valuable. I think this is essential information for anyone running a coaching or consulting program. If you want to know more about how we practically implement this, how you build an online sales pipeline and get your business running as an online business, then I strongly suggest you check out the 5 projects training. This is a training masterclass I have on the 5 marketing projects that coaches and consultants need to build a multiple 6-figure or 7-figure business. If you look at the top coaches and consultants who are just killing it online, they just focus on these 5 projects to reach their goals. Meantime, most of the people out there who are struggling to make a living are trying the latest social media app and 10 different platforms at once. You just need to focus on these 5 things to really make a massive shift in your business. So go there now, highvaluesales.com/5 projects, and you can register for the free training and download the workbook. Congratulations on sticking around to the end of this training. It shows that you're serious about your business, you're ready to grow, and you're willing to invest the time and energy it takes to get you there. Now, if you are really excited about what you've heard and you're ready to start making more high value sales in your business, you can actually talk to me directly. You can apply for a high value sales strategy call where we look at your existing sales process, who you're currently working with, what your offer is, what your product is, and help you get those aligned so you can start making more high value sales. If you like what you hear and if it looks like it's something that I can help you with, I'll share the ways in which you might be able to work with us and help your business get to the next level in 2017. So Dallas McMillan, thank you again for your attention. I really look forward to speaking to some of you on the strategy call, and the rest of you I'll see on the 5 projects webinar. Thanks again.